How many times in your life have you felt passionate for something? Excited to get out of bed and do it? The excitedness, the nervousness, the motivation, the focus, the drive. Probably pretty rare. You know why? Because at every step of the way, things were implanted, beliefs were implanted into our minds, saying, that's not the right way. You work, you go to school, you pick a career. You're supposed to know what you want to do with the rest of your life before you're even legal to drink a beer. And they want you to know what you want to do with the next 60, 70 years of your life, when you're barely having enough knowledge to understand yourself, understand life at all. I'm going to tell you some stories. Started out as I was always very entrepreneurial. I grew up wanting to be a spy. I'd spy on all my neighbors. I'd be, like Harriet the Spy. Like, I'd have binoculars, I'd have a notepad, I'd have all kinds of little gadgets, and I'd just run around the neighborhood like a muck. Because I didn't want to be home. Because I knew what home was like. I wanted to know what the world was like outside of that, to escape that. Fast forward, I wanted to have a lemonade stand, and in fact, I was quite profitable. And I was told, no, you could only be at this corner, and I thought to myself, I'm on a dead-end street. There's no cars coming down. I should be 2 blocks over at a public park next to a library where people are. Lots more cars. All that, and everybody just told me no. So I took my lemonade stand and I moved over there. And I made a killing. It was just me. Fast forward maybe 2 years, a year, I got really into sewing. I was sewing everything, and at that point I'm just like, I'm going to be a fashion designer and a movie star, and literally all I wanted to do as a kid was go to frickin' space camp. I love the stars, and I still love the stars, and I look at them every single night of my entire life. I love them. They are a part of me. I was sewing things, and then I started making my own like bead necklaces. A lot of like out of like hemp strings, put the beads on there, put, you know, string things in my hair, and just make all kinds of little doodads. And when I was, you know, by 10, I was babysitting other kids for years. When I was 11 and I was homeless for the first time, and this was in LA, I had taken everything I had, you know, taught myself, sewing, making things. I would make things and I would sell them on Saturday flea markets, you know, the local flea markets, and then that's really how I survived. Other than living in a baseball dugout of a park, showered in sprinklers, and wore the same PJs to school every day. And there was some friends that really helped me through that time. Until the one day, after almost a year, I had dropped about 80 pounds of, you know, just pure not being able to eat. I called my grandmother from a payphone, and she brought me back to Chicago. I then had the worst year of my entire life. This was when I was 12. Started junior high. Incessantly bullied for being quiet, for being different, for being smart, not being pretty enough, not being not being enough for anyone. And I began to believe that about myself. So 13, I start, you know, still babysitting, doing odd jobs for our like township office. I'd shovel people's snow, I'd rake leaves, I'd clean houses, and then I started caddying at a very renowned golf course where they do a lot of the US Opens and all that. It's quite hard for me because being very short, you had to specifically grab the flag first and then take it out of the ground. Obviously that doesn't work for me. I am 4'11". That pole is like twice the size of me. After that, you know, still making my own clothes through junior high, and you know, a lot of kids laughed at me. They said some things. People constantly destroying my things, tearing my things apart, throwing them in the trash, stealing them, setting them on fire. Some of my art would be placed up in the school and it'd be destroyed. I didn't have any friends. I really took to writing and poetry, and I would just let it all out. And then one day the teacher was mad that I was too distractible writing, and took my book, which was never retrieved. Some of my best work. And after that, they're like, this chick's, mental, she's suicidal, she's this and that. And I'm like, I can write whatever I want to write. You can't tell me how to feel. You'll live my life. My first real job was at Chuck E. Cheese. And yes, I played the Chuck, which was hilarious because this suit is literally made for like a good 6.5 foot man, right? Like it has shorts and fur, and literally the shorts came down to my feet, and I would have children the size of me, basically attacking me for tickets and hugs and birthday parties and dancing, and treated terribly and minimum wage, and the bosses were just god awful. Place always smelled like urine. Just mess. And that whole place, like that whole Chuck E. Cheese is just, it's possessed, quite honestly. I then started waitressing at Baker Square. Dude was a jerk, and these two evil, cousins. I was waitressing while also doing the cashiering, and because things got busy, the one girl took over the register so that I could be running around. Well, she instead stole all the money out of the register, and obviously my name was on it, and I got canned for something I didn't even do. That's kind of happened a lot, not only in most jobs I've had, family, friends, just people constantly hating me, fearing my genuine nature of caring and loving person. And it just really sucks that the good people of the world are constantly shit on. You think we're naive, and maybe some people are, but I'm surely not naive. I know very well what, I'm getting into, and my discernment over the years is just, so good. That doesn't stop me from getting in terrible situations. I'm getting a little off track. Sorry. So, I finally reached high school, and with all the different things I ever wanted to be, I had finally realized what I wanted to do. Help people. Counsel them. Be there for them. my my high school counselor was really my first ever role model in my life. And she was very transparent and vulnerable with me, and, you know, talked about her past with me. And it made me feel not alone. And from there, you know, I changed around my behaviors because I felt that at that point, behaving badly, that was the only way I'd get any sort of recognition, good or bad, from anyone. I hated school. I hated being treated like a robot. I hated being unheard. I hated not being able to express myself. And I made several basically support groups in high school. One for grief, mental health, another to help volunteer in our community. Student body president. Cheerleading, all that. I ended up getting kicked out of school because I just didn't want to go. I hated it. So I went and got my GED. And it was just like, whatever, now what? I started going to college for psychology. I loved every minute of it. I loved every class. I loved learning everything about the mind, about people, sociology, all of it. Just the mechanics, the neurology. It just still fascinates me. People are my greatest passion. And I decided that, you know, I was too good to just have a GED. So I got enrolled in a school that was more individualized and basically in person but online, but it was all just like independently focused. And being able to take charge of my own education and in my pace, I excelled flying colors. The visuals, like, I cannot deal with like auditory, just talking. I am just gonna go right out. I went from straight F's to straight A's. Now this time I'm still working 2-3 jobs, and then I decided to go back to my other high school with the amazing counselor and some really amazing teachers that actually cared. And what really helped me was giving me the option to have my own independent class for myself. So I would be like in a class, but I would choose all of my own assignments, choose all of my own works, you know, all of that, and that pushed me, that gave me drive, that motivation, that choice, the options, which is what made me excel. By the time that I got my high school diploma, and right after my first associates. I got so much grief from my family for going for psychology, because they didn't know, they didn't ask, they didn't care. They weren't paying for it. They harped at me so much that they made me quit. You'll never make money doing that. When you go be a hairdresser, go be a nurse. You can go be a stripper, but you can't be a psychologist. These are the things that they told me. These are the things that they pushed into my head. Finally, I started going for business, which I hate. I hate math. I'm good at it, but I hate it. I'm good with business things, but just kind of kills your soul. Thus, I kept creating my own businesses over and over. And then I was just like, really all I ever wanted was to help people and to be a mom. So I chose, I was gonna be a mom. After that, my health really fell apart, and I decided to go to beauty school. Not for hair, only for nails, which I was really good at, and I always did my nails and did other people's nails, and so like I actually wanted to just go to school for it, and I did, and I worked at a few salons and all that, and then like I had my own studios and whatnot. It's just like it took all the joy out of it. The salons really weren't my environment, you know. There's so much life I've experienced. The point I'm trying to get to, sorry. They're coming down to Florida. I thought things would be different. And when I got involved with the Kratom community, finally, it really brought back my sense of purpose, my sense of joy, my inspiration, my happiness, helping others, helping myself, helping the world to feel better in so many ways. And of course, some very spiteful people wanted to take that from me, because no matter where you go, they just fear my light, because it casts so much shadow back at them. So I had kind of let go of the community life, and went down a rabbit hole of just chaos. And you know what? Those are the most important times and moments of your entire life. Those times when everything around you is crumbling. It's just exploding. The universe is just spitting on you. that's when you get to find you. That's it, if you allow yourself. That's the whole point. To allow yourself to explore who you are, what you want, knowing what you do not want, knowing not to listen to anybody else. I still don't know an exact pathway to go. But I know the one thing that I love the most is helping people, learning myself, and teaching others. It's just who I am. So many of us are put these beliefs in our minds of what someone else wants for us, what culture wants for us, and we try to manifest that. But it isn't right. Schools that teach you to be robots, to not be free thinkers, to learn jobs that will be taken over by artificial intelligence and robots in a few years. But what can they not teach robots? How to love, how to care, how to have emotions. That is what makes us human. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. That is our human superpower. Just like fish swimming together, they don't know that they're swimming through water. Us as people, we don't understand that we are just a bunch of people walking through a bunch of human ideologies, other people's opinions, wants, wishes. Sometimes you need to be brought down to your most basic form to finally hear your inside, to hear your internal call. To the rest of the world, it seems like I'm in some irrational place, stupid, and it's not. It is necessary for my evolution, for my lessons, for my growth. Your life is your masterpiece. You get to decide where you want to put the red or the blue or the yellow go. But instead, people just want to make photocopies of everyone else they see around them. A photocopy of their parents, their families, their friends. They look at what is success. They think success is money and fame and whatever. I have never felt so successful in my life, and I don't have squat. But I have never felt so amazing about myself. It's literally like in the Matrix, when asked the blue pill to live the normal, regular life, or the red pill. And, the blue pill will slowly get you, I'm sure, to where to go. And then you're constantly hitting the snooze button and you wake up 40 like, where the fuck did my life go? Right? And everyone's having a midlife crisis. You take the red pill, and it's not easy, because you're doing things so much differently. You're taking much different avenues and failing all along the way. But at some point, it's going to click, and you will be so much more significantly better off. The most important voice is not what's out there. It is that voice within. Do you want the photocopy life? Or do you want to take the risk for something greater for yourself? Find it. It is within you. You just have to get real serious with yourself and ask yourself some very in-depth questions based on your personality, your perceptions, your passions, your likes, your dislikes. It's a process. But the journey is what it is all about. You guys don't know how much I appreciate you. The comments I receive, the support I receive, sharing your stories with me. It means everything to me. And I just thank you for being here, for being along for the journey, and I'm along for yours. And if any of my videos, if anything I've ever said has inspired you, motivated you, triggered you, made you think, let me know. Because I'll tell this stuff to an audience of none. I wouldn't care. But the people that are there mean the world to me. And I hope you guys will subscribe and follow along this crazy journey called life, that we're all trying to figure it out. And it works a lot better when you have guidance, when you have a support system, when you have somebody to talk to, and everybody knows. Everybody knows. Anybody can contact me at any time, day or night. Facebook, Instagram, through YouTube. You can email me at literally any of the emails. Literally all of my information is always in the description box. Please subscribe. And I'd really love to hear your thoughts